Why are pro wrestling fans ruining pro wrestling? Why is there so much negativity with pro wrestling? Whose fault is the negativity getting blamed on? The fans or the promotion? Doesn't matter which promotion, WWE, AEW, is better? Doesn't matter which pro wrestler works with which promotion? Why is it always the wrestlers having to defend their decisions? Why do we not hear from the promotions about all this negative hate? Is social media the cause for more negative comments than positive comments from pro wrestling fans, causing issues? And if so, how should it be addressed? Do promotions like WWE and AEW actually thrive on this negative reaction? What happened to the days of watching pro wrestling because of the joy of the storylines? Does AEW really want to beat WWE? Does WWE really want to be the only existing pro wrestling company? Why do fans hate Tony Khan so much? If people have high opinions on CM Punk leaving pro wrestling and then getting hired by another company where CM Punk bashes everything about WWE to only get fired by AEW to then get rehired by WWE, who's the real hypocrite? The pro wrestling fans, the pro wrestlers, or the promotions? Do pro wrestling fans just ignore all the scandal and chaos that Vince McMahon has done for the past 50 years? What needs to be done to change the hatred and negativity from certain pro wrestling fans? Does pro wrestling actually suffer from the views and opinions of their fans? Will pro wrestling eventually rebound from their fans' hatred and negativity, or will it get worse from here? Welcome to episode 2. Are the fans screwing the fans in pro wrestling?
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? Welcome to and new. Oh yeah!
It's going to be the biggest battleground in the history of our sport.
As God is my witness, he is broken in half.
But I'm better than you.
And you know it. You want some? Come get some.
Acknowledge me.
The irresistible force meeting the immovable object.
Welcome, wrestling fans, to the second episode of the Wrestling Universe Channel podcast, where pro wrestling fans discuss what we love or what we're despising right now in pro wrestling. So if it's your first time listening in, we, the Wrestling Universe Channel, would like to thank you for taking the time to listen. And if you have returned, we want to especially thank you for sticking around for more episodes by the Wrestling Universe Channel. We invite you to follow us on Spotify and YouTube.
Yada, yada, yada.
We are still new to this podcast world, and there might be some hiccups along the way, so bear with us.
Get on with it. Yes, get on with it.
Get on with it!
All right, let's begin.
What do you guys want to talk about?
It's the question that has plagued the world of pro wrestling for decades, especially now more than ever. Why are so many pro wrestling fans so damn negative? Sure, there will always be critics in every walk of life, but something about the pro wrestling fandom seems to bring out the worst in people. They'll rip apart a promoter's booking decisions, mock a wrestler's in-ring skills, and even go as far as to accuse the performers for being fake. But is it really the fans' fault? Or is it the promotion's fault? The wrestler's fault? Or something deeper? One thing's for sure, social media hasn't helped matters. With social media platforms like X and others, it's easier than ever for fans to voice their opinions, often without any filter or context. And with the 24/7 news cycle of the internet, it seems like every little thing a promoter or wrestler does is blown out of proportion. But is it their fault? After all, promotions like WWE and AEW have a responsibility to create compelling storylines and matches that keep fans engaged. And wrestlers? Well, they're human too. They make mistakes and have bad days. It's understandable that fans would be frustrated when they don't live up to expectations. The question then becomes, who should bear the brunt of that frustration? Is it fair for fans to take their anger out on the wrestlers, or should they direct it towards the promotion instead? Some might argue that promotions like WWE have become more complacent, relying on their brand recognition and nostalgia to coast by while churning out subpar content. Others might say that AEW, ran by Tony Khan, acts more like a fan and less than an actual promoter who delivers a brand with garbage backyard wrestling matches and less actual classic wrestling. Is it the promotions that are causing this additional negativity with their fans? But what about the wrestlers? It's not their job to create storylines, write scripts, or book the matches. Well, that's what we've been told. They're just there to perform and entertain, yet they're often the ones who bear the brunt of the fans' anger. They're accused of quote-unquote working too slow, or quote-unquote not selling a move properly. Some fans even go as far as to demand that certain wrestlers be fired or released from their contracts. Is it fair for fans to have such high expectations of these performers? Or is it a sign of their own disillusionment with the product as a whole? Perhaps the answer lies somewhere in between. It's understandable that pro wrestling fans have high standards. These pro wrestling fans are from all ages of life and had idols such as Bruno Sammartino, Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Undertaker, and John Cena. But as the years have gone by, the business has changed. It's important for fans to adapt, but why hate on the other company? I mean, it wasn't long ago fans were switching channels to watch both WWE and WCW wrestling. Is that what is really happening? Are we experiencing an actual war between companies, or is it the pro wrestling fans that are causing the hatred and negative views? I have heard people say that the only reason they're WWE fans is because they hate AEW, and vice versa. I have heard people say that AEW should just give up because WWE is better. And with the recent situation at WWE Survivor Series, wrestling fans saw the return of CM Punk. The WWE fans, or universe, blasted CM Punk for his behavior as soon as he was hired by AEW. But now those same WWE fans are praising CM Punk for returning. In fact, quoting, "You have come home. CM Punk has returned home." It's almost as if pro wrestling fans have become so divided that they can't even enjoy the same thing anymore. There's no longer a sense of camaraderie or shared love for the sport. It's all about who's the best promotion and who's the best wrestler. And when someone tries to enjoy something different, they're immediately attacked for it, being blasted on social media consistently. Heck, I won't even be surprised if the Wrestling Universe channel gets blasted for speaking our mind about this subject. But why is this happening? Is it because the promotions are encouraging it? Are they deliberately creating this sense of rivalry to drum up interest and ratings? Or is it something deeper within the fans themselves? Maybe it's a combination of both. As for the solution, well, that's not entirely clear. It would take a concreted effort from both the promotions and the fans to bridge the divided. The promotions could try to present their product in a more unifying manner, emphasizing the similarities between the two companies rather than the differences. Yeah, that's not going to happen. They could also focus on telling better stories and delivering higher quality matches, which would hopefully inspire more respect and admiration from their fans. That is a better possibility. On the fan side, it's important for wrestling fans to remember why they fell in love with the sport in the first place. Is it really about who has the best promotion or the best wrestler? Or is it about the sense of community and the shared love of the spectacle? Perhaps it's time for fans to take a step back and appreciate the fact that they have two viable options when it comes to pro wrestling entertainment. One way fans can do this is by engaging in more respectful and constructive discourse with one another. Instead of immediately jumping to insults and personal attacks, wrestling fans should focus on offering thoughtful critiques and suggestions for improvement. This not only shows maturity on the part of the fans, but it also demonstrates a genuine interest in the long-term success of the industry as a whole. Another way to bridge the divided is for fans to be more open-minded about trying new things. Instead of automatically hating on a promotion or a wrestler just because they're not part of their preferred company, give them a chance to prove themselves. You never know. You might just discover a new favorite wrestler or promotion in the process. So maybe it's time for a change. It's time for pro wrestlers to drop the insults and personal attacks. Darkness and hatred isn't needed anywhere, including pro wrestling. So let's drop it and continue enjoying what we love. Can we stop the hate? Can we drop bashing and the negativity? Or will this truly be the downfall of pro wrestling? Remember, when we were younger, watching pro wrestling on television, were you ever being told which brand to watch? Which wrestler you should root for? It was your opinion, not a decision. So don't ruin it for the younger fans, because honestly, we're already ruining it for ourselves. Okay, let's go home, shall we?
Going home.
Going home.
Go home. Going home.
With that being said, the solution to the problem lies within the fans themselves. They need to take responsibility for their actions and attitudes towards each other. They need to remember why they fell in love with the sport in the first place and focus on the things that truly matter. The athleticism, the storytelling, and the sense of community that pro wrestling provides. By doing so, they can help to create a more positive environment for everyone involved, from the wrestlers to the promotions to the fans themselves. At the same time, it's important for the promotions to foster a sense of cooperation rather than competition. After all, they're all part of the same industry, and what's good for one promotion is ultimately good for all of them. They should focus on putting on the best shows possible and using social media and other platforms to engage with their fans in a respectful and constructive manner. By setting a good example, they can encourage their fans to follow suit. Furthermore, it's crucial for fans to remember that pro wrestling is a form of entertainment, and it's supposed to be fun. There's no need to take things so seriously that you can't enjoy something just because someone else prefers something else. At the end of the day, we're all fans of the same sport, the same entertainment, and our love for it should bring us together, not tear us apart. And now it's time to get off my soapbox. Until next time, fans, thank you for taking the time to listen to this episode. And you know the drill. Like us, follow us, and be notified of the latest from the Wrestling Universe channel with videos on our YouTube channel and or episodes on our podcast on Spotify. Thank you again, fans, and remember to enjoy pro wrestling.